In this third part of the lecture on human body plans, we will be looking briefly at the different organ systems and have discussed about the integumentary system. So we have several organ systems in the body that perform specific functions. So you have the integumentary system, which composed of the skin, the hair, and the nails. The nervous system, which composed of the brain, the spinal cord, the sensory organs, and the nerves. We have the endocrine system, consisting of the glands and the cells that secrete hormones. We have the muscular system, which are individual muscles, which are the system of muscles used in moving the body. We have the skeletal system, the bones, which serves as the body's framework. The circulatory system, which consists of the heart and the blood vessels. The lymphatic system, which contains the vessel that move fluid from tissues to blood. We have the respiratory system, which consists of the lungs and the airways leading to the lungs. We have the digestive systems, including the gut, the liver, and the pancreas. We have the urinary system, which is the kidneys, the bladder, and the ducts. And the reproductive system, the gamete-making organs and ducts through which the gametes travel. So these are a brief look at the integumentary system. So the integumentary system's main job is to protect the body from injury, to prevent dehydration, to prevent the entrance of pathogens, to moderate the body temperature, excrete wastes, and detect external stimuli. Then we have the nervous system. For detection of external and internal stimuli, it coordinates our body's responses and integrates the different organ systems in the body. We have the endocrine system, which secretes hormones that control the activity of the other organ systems. And the muscular system, for movement, it maintains the posture. It also produces heat and helps maintain body temperature. And then the skeletal system, working closely with the muscular system for movement. So it also supports and protects the body parts. The attachment of the muscle is on this body framework to facilitate movement. And it produces the red blood cells as well as storage bank of the minerals. And we have your circulatory system, which acts as the main transport system. So it distributes materials and heat throughout the body and helps maintain normal pH levels. We also have the lymphatic system. It collects and returns tissue fluid to the blood, and another important task of that is to defend the body system against infections and cancer. So the lymphatic system also contains your immune system. So respiratory system takes the oxygen from the aerobic respiration and expels carbon dioxide released by the pathway. We have the digestive system. It takes in food and water, it breaks down the food, it absorbs the needed nutrients, and eliminates the waste. So for the urinary system, it helps maintain the volume and composition of the blood. It excretes the excess fluids and wastes. And for the reproductive system, we have, for the female, its main task is to produce egg cells. It nourishes and also to nourish and protect the developing offspring. For the males, it produces the sperm and to transfer them to the female. So this is how the body system works, or in tandem or in coordination with each other. So each system is integrated with one another. So they have tasks that help each other perform. So for example, if during eating, you intake food and water, it goes to the digestive system. Your digestive system absorbs the nutrients and then passes it on to the circulatory system, whereas the remaining food residues are expelled. And then the circulatory system, it transports these nutrients to the rest of the body. The same goes for the respiratory system. The respiratory system takes in the oxygen that are inhaled and expels the carbon dioxide. The oxygen that is intaken are transferred again to the circulatory system for distribution to the body. And it also receives, or the circulatory system is the one that delivers carbon dioxide to the respiratory system for expulsion. And then the circulatory system, again, works closely with the urinary system to maintain the balance, the pH, and the composition of the blood. So the urinary system is responsible for elimination of the soluble wastes, excess water, and salts. So we have here the different cavities. So these are actually not exactly empty spaces, but these are spaces where there are organs. So we have the cranial cavity where the brain is situated, the spinal cavity for the spinal cord, the thoracic cavity, which contains your heart and your lungs. You have the abdominal cavity. So the thoracic and abdominal cavity are separated by your diaphragm. So the abdominal cavity contains your gut. So basically your stomach, your intestines, and also your kidneys. Now the pelvic cavity contains your for the females, it has your uterus. So the abdominal cavity and pelvic cavity together constitute your abdominopelvic cavity. So moving on to the first body system that we will be discussing, we have the human skin. So the skin is the largest surface area of all vertebrate organs. So technically, it can be considered the largest organ in close contention with the liver. So the skin has several layers. It has the epidermis, which is the upper layer, the exterior most layer. You have the dermis, the most interior, the lower layer below the epidermis, and you have the hypodermis. The hypodermis consists mostly of the connective and adipose tissues, and it can be thin or thick depending on different body areas. So the skin functions mainly as sensory receptors to keep the brain informed from external conditions, as well as a barrier to keep out pathogens. In fact, the skin is part of the immune system as the first line of defense. So the skin also helps retain internal temperature and conserve water for land vertebrates. So in humans, it helps produce vitamin D. The epidermis part of the skin is a stratified squamous epithelium tissues. So it has adhering junctions without extracellular matrix. So it has mainly keratinocytes, basically keratin, so cells containing lots of keratin. So the new cells replace the older ones towards the skin surface. So you are actually continuously shedding cells from your skin. So the deepest layer contains your melanocytes, which make your pigments. So we have different shades of color. Different people have different shades of color in the skin based on the number of melanin that you have. So the dermis, the dense connective tissue with stretchy elastin fibers and supportive collagen fibers. So it helps keep the skin supple. So it's thicker than epidermis. So it contains blood vessels, the sensory receptors, the lymph vessels. So the dermis lie at the base of each hair follicle. That's why you can feel the sting when you try to root out or you try to pull out your hair roots, because it contains also your sensory receptor. So this is a short view of your human skin. So here is an image of the skin. You have your epidermis. As you can see, this layer is actually the dead skin cells that are being shed continuously. So you are shedding this layer, and then you have your dermal layer, so dermis. So this is mainly dense connective tissue. So this is the epidermis, stratified squamous. Now this is another view of that, so it's a more comprehensive one. So you can see here the hair follicles. So hair follicles with roots deeper into the dermal layer. So you also have your muscles connected. Smooth muscles is connected to the hair follicle. That is how that is why you have goosebumps, or your skin, the hair follicle in your skin can stand up, especially when it's cold. So that's due to the action of the smooth muscle cells in the skin layer. So you have your sebaceous gland that contains that usually releases sebum or oils in the skin. So you also have several blood vessels running continually there. This is the sweat gland. Okay, so those are some parts of your skin. So the next part of this lecture is about homeostasis. So one important task, not only of the skin but of all the body systems, especially headed by your nervous system, is maintaining homeostasis. Homeostasis is the sense, or it's it's the way your body maintains constant, for example, pH, temperature. So there's no drastic changes, which those drastic changes kasi can be very detrimental to your health. So the homeostasis is mostly but not exclusively maintained by negative feedback. So what is negative feedback? Let's look at this lecture. So we have a sensory receptor. The skin has sensory receptors. So we have the cells or or other cell components that detect specific stimulus in the body. So for example, if it's cold or it's hot, your sensory receptors in skin will immediately tell your brain that it's cold or hot. So the brain will signal effectors, which are the muscles or glands, to take the necessary action. So when that action returns to the normal, so when the effect of that action returns your body back to normal, you will have a negative feedback inhibition. So negative, which means it reverses the previous action. So the negative feedback is a change that causes a response to reverse the change. So for example, you have air conditioner. So let's look at an example that is not a human. Let's say that's an air conditioner with a thermostat function. So the thermostat in your air conditioner can, or rather your air conditioner system can have a sensor that monitors the temperature, and then that is considered your sensory receptor. And then you have the circuitry. The sensors will tell the circuitry, the brain of your air conditioner, that let's say the desired temperature has been observed. For example, you want to have 20 degrees Celsius room temperature. So once that temperature has been achieved, the sensors in the air conditioner will then tell the circuitry that the temperature of 20 has been achieved. So now the air conditioner will shut itself off for a while, and then because it's already done its job, so it's already maintained your 20 degrees. So it will no longer output excessive cold air. And then afterwards, after some time, that the temperature rises again, let's say it rose up to 21 or 22, then your sensor again will tell you, oh, it's already hot. So it will tell the circuitry will tell the motor of the air conditioner to ramp up the temperature. So let's look at this application for the human body. So how about during a hot day? So in the summer, it's very hot. So we have a stimulus there. It's a rise in body temperature. So your skins will, different body systems will tell the sensory neurons it's hot. And then the sensory neurons will relay that information to the brain, and then the brain will then, the involuntary part of your brain will then process that response. So the brain will tell several organs and organ systems in the body to modulate some of their functions in order to decrease the temperature. So what are those functions? So they can order the skin to sweat, so that the sweat, because the evaporation of water on the skin surface have a cooling effect. That's why we sweat. So you cause sweating. You can also increase the blood flow to the skin, so the blood vessels will dilate nearer to the skin surface. So that is so that the heat from the interior of your body will be dispelled outwards. So you have that effect. So due to those reactions, due to those functions, the body temperature will then gradually lower. So it will return back to normal. Now, what if coming from a very, very hot environment, so you are outside on a summer, you went inside an air-conditioned room. So now your body has already adapted to the heat outside, and then when you went to a cold room, then your body will then detect that the decline in body temperature, so it's colder than it's normal. So again, the sensors will get that information, will detect the stimulus, it will relay the signal to the brain, and then the brain will do the appropriate response. So what are those responses? So they can decrease. So instead of dilating, the blood flow in the skin will then constrict. so that to prevent the loss of heat to the outside. So you can also trigger shivering. Shivering reaction, why we shiver? The shivering is basically the contraction, movement, continuous contraction of your muscles. So when you shiver, your muscles contract. So the contraction produces additional heat. So that's actually a source of heat in the body through metabolism. So the shivering response. And then due to those responses, your body temperature will increase and until you reach the normal state. So that's basically how you maintain the normal body temperature despite the outside environment becoming too hot or too cold. So that's how you do homeostasis. So that's it for this topic. So see you on next time.